Evening. If Make sure I'm live here. Dr. Kelsey Graham and I have been a part of this um, here. I have a live stream. I've live streamed from my cell phone, but not at my desk. So I hope this is coming through okay. But I've noticed, not just here on this page, um, but also, let's see, on other event wedding pages and whatnot, there's a lot of questions. How can I, of course, get customers? How can I get going? I mean, that's the big question, right? That's why we're all doing, as they say, what we do. And there we go. Okay, I'm here. I just want to make sure that I was streaming appropriately. I've been involved in businesses for over 4 decades. I've been in a service business. I've done thousands of weddings. And if you Google my name, you'll see me all over the place with weddings. You look at images, I'm all over the place there. And I've always done what I call guerrilla marketing. Um, and I just want to give some tips real quick. And if anybody finds any of this interesting, then I'll design a more professional presentation, do a webinar, invite people to join in there. I started to do a live stream to answer a few questions. Um, I don't, when it comes to Facebook, social media, you've got to understand where we are in the 21st century with places like Facebook. First of all, if your Facebook has become an old folks' home. The majority of the people, if you haven't noticed, if you back up and you look your friend list, the people that are active on Facebook, you're going to find it's a lot older generation. The young people are doing other things. A lot of them are on Instagram, Snapchat, and then there's Twitter. There's just a lot of different platforms, and social media has just not a youth-oriented platform anymore. Now, I'm on Facebook now, clearly. I do use Facebook. I have no expectations of anything here on Facebook. Historically, in the last 15 years of or so of Facebook, there's been nothing great ever came out of as far as leads, as far as good paying customers, clients, couples, and so forth. Just never happened in this form of social media. All right. So what do you do? Um, you don't have any money. Don't have a great budget to work with for advertising. Um, where do you go? What do you do? So I never intended the wedding thing started for me as a suggestion. I retired when I was 50. I got bored rather quick. I was looking for something else to do. My father was a pastor. I, of course, ordained and my PhD's in theology. A friend of mine said, put yourself out as a wedding minister. In Alabama, I kind of stand out because I'm more open, I'm more liberal than most in my home state. So that it was kind of wide open. So the first thing I tell people is, as you brand yourself, I want to think about two or three things here, because the first thing you've got to do is work on your brand. Who are you? What do people think of when they think of you? Now, unfortunately, a lot of people get too hung up on their logos, they get too hung up on their business name and that sort of thing. A good habit to start when you drive down business district of your town, a road or whatever, or you think of businesses that have been super successful, think about their logos. Think about how they branded themselves. Let's say UPS. That's 3 letters. It's not fancy. It's not over the top. It's just very simple UPS. Um, Coke, Coca-Cola. Most people don't even say Coca-Cola. They say, I want a Coke. Um, Pepsi. And if you drive down a business district, a busy road, and you're looking at signs, whether it be you see a Dunkin' Donuts, you see a rental center, all these businesses you'll notice one thing they all pretty much have in common, whether it's Staples, Office Depot, Michaels, Home Depot, Lowe's. They have maybe a certain color scheme, but it's very basic, very in your face. It's not busy. It is mostly, majority of the time, it's block letters. It's very easily read, very easily noticeable, and they have branded themselves. When you see Panera Bread, you know what it is. When you see Starbucks, you know what it is. So it's not over the top. People get too over the top because your name at the end of the day is not what's going to be important. It is what people think of when they think of your name that's going to be important. I branded myself just as my name, Dr. Kelsey Graham. So I don't have any fancy name. It's like it just started out that way, and I just let it ride that way. So people think of a wedding officiant and DJ and different things. I'm right there. Um, so it ended up being branded that way. I have no fancy logos. You go to my website. You want it in your face. Don't get too carried away with the schemes of um, the names and so forth. That's not what's important. What's important is what people think of when they think of whatever name you chose. Okay? So that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing is, on earlier business cards, I had the statement, building a reputation, not sitting on one. Meaning that I don't care how long you've been in business, you're always working on your reputation. Every person you serve, every client you serve, every couple you serve is that should be treated as if they were the make or break of your reputation. It takes forever to build a good reputation. It takes a split second to destroy it. Now I'm going to get to some very basics, and without going too deep, as to how to generate leads of good paying customers. Branding is important. And when I'm saying branding, I'm not talking about your business name. I'm not talking about just color scheme. I'm thinking about what people think of when they think of your name. What makes you stand out from all these other event planners? Why would they choose you? What is special about what you're doing? Uh, some people, it's like, well, I'm the cheapest in town. Well, if you want to be the cheapest in town, that's up to you. Personally, I don't want to be the cheapest in town. I'd rather be the most expensive in town. I'd rather have less customers and make more money per customer. But that's up to each individual how they want to pursue their careers and their business. So, if you start out and you're hungry for business, and to get business, you're selling on price instead of what you're producing, you're going to be forever known because, well, she's the cheapest, or he's the least expensive in town. And so that's the reason they'd be gravitating to you instead of saying, they're the best. You should have seen what they did for me. And you're not going to be able to overserve and exceed your clients' expectations by underserving, by not giving yourself enough money to work with, and of course to make a profit. The whole purpose of this is not for the fun of it. Hopefully you enjoy what you're doing, but the whole purpose at the end of the day is to be able to pay your bills, feed your family, and hopefully have enough money to enjoy your life and do things you like to do. So now it's a very competitive field. Events. It's just the whole, from weddings and events, it's something that people think, oh, this is easy to get into. I can do this. Somebody told me I'm talented. I have an eye for decorations or whatever. And so, but what I've noticed, and you should think about as you're branding yourself, are you a carbon copy of everybody else out there? If you find yourself constantly coming to a group like this and trying to get opinions on schemes for decor and whatnot from other event planners, then you're basically just falling in line with everybody else out there. It's better if you shut all that out and be creative in your own right. One thing I've noticed in a lot of pictures that come down the timeline here in this group, the event planners, is balloons. Gosh, I've never seen so many balloons in my life. Balloons, balloons, balloons. Um, if you want to excel, and the reason I'm approaching it like this, you're saying, well, this isn't getting into marketing. Yes, this is marketing, 100%. You want to be unique. You've got to stand out. If you're just one of them, um, I found it very strange that in the wedding industry, every year, some of the bridal magazines and whatnot and websites would always, what's the what's the favorite colors for 2020, or what's the theme that brides are using, the most popular theme. It's like, if it's my wedding, why would I want to do what everybody else is doing? Why do I just want to be a carbon copy? Everybody's using peacock feathers. Well, I'm not going to stand out. I'm not going to be unique. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing because it's the popular thing to do right now. You can do that, but you're never going to stand out. You're just going to be, well, all these are doing peacock feathers, or a few years ago it was the burlap and mason jars. That was a big thing. Every other wedding you went to was burlap, mason jars, burlap, mason jars. It's like they're cookie cutter weddings. That to me does not take a creative person to just do these cookie cutter events, because that's just doing what everybody else is doing. So think about how you're going to brand yourself. Are people, when they think of whatever you call yourself, again, they're not. Your name is not what's going to attract them. Whether you call yourself Susie's Event Planner, or Event Planners of America, or whatever name you choose, the name is not what's going to make you successful. It's what they think of when they think of your name that's going to make you successful. So, how do I get the leads? I'm sorry, I could go on about these subjects all night long, so I'll try to get focused in here just to get something brief. I was going to plan this a little bit later, but I've got weddings and so forth this weekend. I just was ready to kind of get this out here. When I first started with weddings, I didn't have any reputation with weddings. As a third generation pastor, preacher, I had done weddings throughout my life, but I never looked at that as a career. Only after I retired at an early age and somebody suggested I put myself out there in that mode. So I was not branded that way. Nobody knew me in that mode. So I did a few things. First of all, I didn't know that there was a need. That's the first thing. I got lucky that there was a need in where I was. There was basically no competition in Alabama, because it was just, nobody thought about a wedding, a celebrant or an officiant or anything like that. They just had their church preacher and that was it. So that made it easy for me on that end. So, but once I saw that there was a need, I wanted to get my name out there further. I didn't have a budget to work with. I didn't, because I had no marketing plan. I had no idea that this would ever take off. I honestly never knew that there was a need for anybody to do what I was doing. Over a course of time, I became very knowledgeable about all aspects of weddings, from planning to directing, you name it. I learned it at a necessity over serving so many couples. But on the marketing end of it, the one thing I already knew because of other ventures in my life and being very internet savvy and Google savvy and so forth, Google likes videos. If you went back and look at the first website I used, I've still got a copy of it out there. And I look at that and I think, why would anybody ever call me? That is the silliest, most obnoxious looking website but it wasn't the website. It was what I did. And I can't stress this enough. It's not your business name. It's not your logo. That's not what's important. What's important is what they think of when they think of your name and your logo. And you've got to distinguish that. You need to spend less time on what you're going to call yourself, what color scheme you're going to use. Because if you went back to that original website I used that made my wedding business just boom take off in a very short period of time. It was laughable. It was unplanned. It was thrown together in 5 minutes, and it's I'm embarrassed by it now, but that's what it grew from. Because it wasn't those images, it wasn't the colors, it wasn't the butterflies, it wasn't any of that stuff. It was what was being offered. It was the reputation behind what was being offered. So, I recognized from earlier ventures and experiences in life, Google loves videos. So, when I first started, I did two or three things. First of all, I didn't even have a Facebook page, especially business-wise. I don't think I had a... We're going back right when Facebook, I guess, was first really getting going, and we were just coming out of the MySpace era and whatnot, so it wasn't a big thing. And, I didn't even think of Facebook as a marketing tool. I had the website, which really and truly I look back and say, gosh, I'm surprised anybody called me. I Googled and I found all the wedding sites. Wedding Wire, The Knot, Wedfolio. There was a ton of them out there. I don't know what they are now. I've still got listings out there, but I don't know what different sites are available now and how they work now. But at that point in time, you were able to get a free listing. It wasn't one of the paid highlighted listings. It was a free listing. So I went through and I created a free listing on all those sites. That was number one. And then I sat at my computer at home late at night and I Googled venues. And I shot emails in the middle of the night to all these venues. Hey, my name is Kelsey. I do this. Just want to let you know I'm here. Here's my phone number. Here's my website. If I can be of service to any of your couples, let me know. So I just shot all those out. And it showed up in their inbox, the next day or whenever they checked their email. And I immediately started getting weddings. So along with getting those weddings, and I didn't even think about it. I wasn't really thinking about being in the wedding industry and marketing myself real heavily. As I got into it, somebody got on Wedding Wire and left me a review. And then another couple came along and they saw that review and they used me and they wrote a review. I began to see the importance of these online reviews, and I began to see the importance of having these reviews in one place. Now, I've got some reviews here and I've got some reviews there, but the majority of my reviews are on Wedding Wire because that was the ticket to my beginning, was Wedding Wire. Free listing, none paid listing, and I just put it out there. And so as I went along, it's like, okay, after I served a couple, I would send them an email, and I would thank them and congratulate them, blah, blah, blah. And then I would say, when you get a chance, if you feel that you can, I really appreciate if you would leave me a review of the services I provided you, and I'd share a link. Boom, 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 boom. Now, and throughout the years, people call me, and that's the first thing I hear. We want you. We read your reviews. Those reviews tell my story. They tell the story of Kelsey. And so those couples that wrote all those reviews are telling my story, and that is what sells. It is kind of like referrals, except these people don't know each other. Those online reviews are invaluable. So, and then over-serving whoever, your couples, whoever you're serving, a birthday, whatever it is, whoever your clients are, over-serve them. See, there's a couple of ways to market. One is to make money and spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing and fancy flyers and that stuff, or to over-serve each customer and let them sell for you. And that's the way I've always gone. I never even had any business cards printed up. I printed some off my computer. I don't even give out business cards anymore. I never had any flyers. I didn't never did any of that stuff. But I got those reviews, and I made sure the venues knew that I was out here, and I made sure that I well articulated what I do on my website and on these other sites like Wedding Wire, The Knot, and so forth. And then videos. Google loves videos. So to get my rankings up in Google, you can pay some SEO expert or whatever, but you can also, and what I did, this is the exact process I went through, is I had my little iPhone then, and I got a free app. And there's a couple of different free apps you can use. And you can find one that suits you. One that I like right now is called Magisto, Magisto. Another one that I'd use is Vimeo, but I like Magisto better. Vimeo, they constantly want you to upgrade and pay a fee. Magisto, you can do it, and if you wanted to pay a fee, it's very inexpensive. I think like $5 a month. So what I would do at every event I went to, I would take my phone and I would just snap pictures. If it's a wedding, the couple may be over there with the photographer. I would not bother them, but I might, from back here, zoom in on them, snap a picture. And then I'd take pictures of decorations, the cake, of the venue, just some different pictures. Then I would open up the little app here, and then I would grab those pictures that go in the app. There's music in that app. 1 minute. And it creates this little video for you. 30-second videos, less than a minute, doesn't matter. And I'd make sure that I've got my name listed in there. But it produced the video, I would save it to my phone, and then I would upload it to YouTube. So you want to get a YouTube channel, create a YouTube channel. And so a place to where you can upload these videos. And once you create your YouTube channel, make sure it's branded the same way that you branded your business. If it's, Susie's Event Planning, then make sure that your YouTube channel is called Susie's Event Planning. Keep it all in line. And again, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. I don't care what anybody says, to spend a lot of time thinking, what do I want to call myself? That's not what matters. What matters is what people think of when they think of that name, whatever that name is. Okay? So before I ever left the wedding, when I'm getting in my vehicle, I'm already hitting the upload to YouTube. YouTube, as you upload, they've got a place there for keywords. So that makes it easy to find that video. So at the bottom, I'd put wedding officiant, comma, weddings, comma, Alabama weddings. Every keyword I can think of, as somebody's doing a search, my video would pop up. I did that relentlessly for every wedding I went to. Little short, little simple videos. I'm 30 seconds, not even a minute long. My rankings went up. So when somebody would Google, it helped my rank without any great SEO effort or whatever. I had my keywords. You could also use hashtags. In the description, put hashtags. Hashtag wedding officiant. Hashtag event planner. Hashtag Philadelphia event planner. Wherever your location is, be specific. Use that in every little video you put out there. If you've got a website, then share those videos on a certain page of your website. Okay? And also, you share pictures of work you've done on your website. I don't care what you do. If you bake cakes, take a picture of all your cakes and have those cakes, a whole gallery of your cakes. If you do centerpieces, make sure you've got all your centerpieces there. And then if you get your reviews at a place like Wedding Wire, like I did, they have where you can tie it into your website, and every time you get a new review, it's right there on your website. So it's easy for people to find your reviews. So again, people spend way too much time worrying about what they're going to call themselves. People spend way too much time thinking they're going to earn money from social media like Facebook and so forth. And they're not spending enough time trying to figure out what is that thing that's going to make people hire me over all these other people? Is it because I'm cheap? Is that the way I want to brand myself? I am the Dollar Tree of wedding planners or the event planners. Um, is it because I am very creative? I think outside the box. And when I say think outside the box, again, I want to go back to what I said before. If 2021 balloons are the popular thing for decor, you're not going to go outside the box by pushing balloons. I never understood when it came to birthdays, when it comes to weddings or anything like that, why everybody just wants to be a carbon copy of everybody else getting married that year. That's everybody's choice, but I make sure I tell my clients that your wedding can stand out and be memorable, or you can be just another wedding. And that's your choice. Some people feel they're so traditional that they want to get outside the box. You do what your paying customer wants done, but it is your job to give them options and to let them know that you do think outside the box. And then once it becomes known, it's like, oh, they did it my way. I wanted very traditional. She did it my way. But I tell you what, she will think outside the box. You're unique. So it still gets out there, even though you may do a lot of traditional stuff. At least these people that are looking for somebody that really gets outside the box, like, hey, I did a nudist wedding. And then people in Alabama can say they did a nudist wedding. Okay? And that gets out there. I've done all kind of themed weddings, Halloween weddings. So once it gets known that, hey, this guy's professional, this guy will do it your way, he will get outside the box. That's a big plus. That's not a negative at all. And especially if you're in a conservative area like I am. Now, your area may be different. You got to find out where you fit, and you got to find out where you want to fit. But if you or find yourself constantly going to other event planners for ideas, that's not good. You got to do this on your own. You got to be creative on your own. So maybe you need to sit back and look at things a little bit differently. Now that's not to say that you can't get pointers from other event planners, but again, I found it interesting in the last few weeks or so that I've seen all these balloons, but I've seen this over the years. Like I said, a few years ago it was burlap and mason jars, and there was one year it was peacocks, and it's like everybody follows this one theme. Don't let that be your approach. If they want that, cool, you're going to do what the client wants. They're paying you, they're writing the check. Learn to listen, learn to ask questions. Your client is going to build your business for you. So you be a good listener. Know what questions to ask. Don't ask leading questions. Leading questions are, oh yes, peacocks are very favored. The most popular color this year is so and so. That is a leading question. To find out what's on their mind, you ask questions like, what's your favorite color? Have you thought about a theme you would like? And I'll ask, what's your hobbies? What are you into? Are you a nature person? Are you a gamer? I've done geeky weddings. I've done gamer weddings. I've done nature weddings. I've done, like I say, I've even done a nudist wedding. What's your thing? Because at the end of the day, it should not be about what's popular. It should be about them, uniquely them. So back to the beginning again. If you're just starting out, as you brand yourself, think less about what you're calling yourself and more about what people will think of when they think of you. That's what's important. Get a little app. Take pictures of all the events you do. Get everybody you serve to go and write a review and make sure those reviews are collected at the same place, whether it be on Knot, whether it be Webfolio, whether it be Wedding Wire. Have your reviews in one place, so you collect them. Make sure that that's very, very important. Um, do those little videos, your YouTube channel. Use social media. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying lower your expectations with it, because out of 2 decades of dealing with Facebook and MySpace and different social media platforms, that's not where the leads come from. And there's a lot of competition on these sites too. So it's just a free place. It's easy, and it's also kind of like I'm there. It's kind of like an old folks home now. So you're not going to attract the young couples like you would in other things. I've got a TikTok account, and I'll throw little TikTok videos. In fact, the little videos I make with a little app, I will then load those up on TikTok. So any of that stuff works, and there's no harm in it. But I can already tell you, Thumbtack, it's put something out there. Just don't have any expectations from it. Craigslist, Thumbtack, a lot of places like that are very much not money generators, okay? You might be able to get something from it, but most of the people that are attracted to looking for vendors and so forth on those sites are looking to get things done real cheap. I think you'll find that out. It's pretty much kind of the same on Facebook. I'm not saying that over the years I haven't got a little bit out of social media, uh, but all that does help your rankings in Google. The more stuff you put out on the internet, no matter where it is, will help your rankings, because people will click through. Make sure that everything you post on Facebook or Snapchat, wherever you decide that you're going to put stuff on social media, make sure you use hashtags in your post. Down at the bottom, before you hit the post, put some hashtags. You know, wedding planner, New York. Put the city you're in. Make a hashtag out of it. So you may not get something directly from that post, but it will lead and get your name out there still. Okay. So I'm not saying don't use social media. I'm just saying don't. I think a lot of you are already seeing that that's not a big generator of big money leads. So anyway, in brevity, I'm going to sum it up here. I just want to get this out a little bit because there's so many people interested in this subject, and I just kind of wanted to get it out there. And I think I got this going. I don't even know where to end this now. There's something on my screen that I don't understand. I'm used to live streaming from my phone. So I'm trying to see even how I end this on my screen here. There we go. So bear with me, because I've got something on the screen here that is not. Where do I end this? There we go. No, got it. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. Okay, so if anybody's interested in any of this and they think they can learn anything, I will take the time to put together something, a webinar. Maybe we can do a Zoom meeting of some sort, and I'll be glad to answer questions and what have you. I enjoy this subject. I've been in business my entire life, so it's a subject I do enjoy. Everybody have a good evening, good day, whenever you're watching this. Have any questions, post it here. I will try to answer, or I hope that I've been some help.